Good afternoon. My name is River Murt with the Murray State News. I am seated here with the president of the government organization, Student Region, and fellow student Brendan Hawkins. SGA will hold its elections March 10th to 11th. The news asked both candidates for president to come in for interviews. However, candidate Ali Khatib regretfully declined. Brendan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, River. How are you?
I'm doing all right. To start with the nitty-gritty, first question. As presidents of the United States give State of the Union addresses to Congress and the nation, let's propose that you gave a State of the University address. In short, what is the state of the university? What is good that's happening? What do students need to work on? And what does the university need to work on?
Sure. Well, State of University is fantastic in my opinion. I every single day am so proud to be able to represent Murray State, represent the students of Murray State, and really represent an institution that cares so much for the students. Seriously, the support that I feel in my position of SGA president is so much further than anything I would have even dreamed of. Every decision made by the university, the first thing they want to know is how is this going to affect the students? How can we improve life for students? And I'm just so grateful to be able to work and represent a place where I do feel so respected and so valued. We also, have a lot of great things going for us as well. The vet school, obviously, that's a huge opportunity. The med school, both of those fantastic opportunities that will further our institution for years to come. And I think I was saying this to someone last night, but I'm a business major, and I truly wish that I could invest in Murray State. There's few things in this world that I'm as confident about that will just take off and just be so strong for years to come than I am about Murray State. So, and then I know there are other parts to that as well.
What do students need to work on, and what does the university need to work on?
Sure, yeah. What students need to work on, I wouldn't say work on as much, but really what my message to students would be is to get involved. Seriously, that is one of the most important things that you can do as a student. That's my goal, as SGA president. You can get involved in SGA. You can get involved in one of our other 150 plus, campus organizations. There's so many opportunities to get involved. It is the best way to enhance your college experience, to really appreciate, everything that Murray State has to offer. If you are not really sure where to start, I would be more than happy to help you. My office is the second floor of Career Center. So I try to be in there as much as I can. Cade is in there all the time as well. He's the advisor to SGA and student orgs. But we're more than happy to talk to any student and point you in the right direction. And then the last part of that, what does the university have to work on? The university, I think maybe with the recent situation, the lightning strike situation, maybe there is an opportunity for better communication. I'm not really sure what that is. I know that there were a lot of racer alerts and things sent out, but I, in my role, get to see all of these fantastic things that the university is doing. But obviously, that's not being communicated with everyone. So I try my best in my role to communicate those things. But I'm always willing to work with students. I'm always willing to hear if anyone has any ideas on how we can better broadcast what is going on university-wise with students. I would be more than happy to work with them. I'd be more than happy to take that to the administration, and I'm sure our administration would be more than happy to hear that out as well. So,
all right. For the past few weeks, 4 candidates to replace Bob Jackson as the university president have visited. What have been your impressions about the candidates? Can you tell me what the search process has been like, and when can we expect a decision on the new president?
Sure. So first I'll detail kind of the process. So we started with almost 100 applicants, which is fantastic. Then narrowed that down to the 11, which were the 11 that we interviewed, and then narrowed those 11 after the interviews down to the final 4. And then obviously those final 4 came to campus, met with students and faculty, all of the constituency groups. But with that, I'm just so proud that our institution is in such a good place that we could attract such a high level of talent. It was difficult to narrow down the list of 100 down to the list of 11, and it was even more difficult to narrow down that 11 back to the final 4. A lot of discussion, a lot of really, really quality, top shelf competition there, top shelf individuals that we had to turn away, unfortunately. That would have been fantastic, but we just have such a high bar as an institution right now, and so I'm appreciative to that. Any of the 4 candidates I think would be fantastic. I don't personally really. I've tried to keep my own opinions out of it. I've tried to really not form much of an opinion because anyway, at the end of the day, my opinion is the student's opinion. So I'm going to base my decision off of what students, are wanting, off of what students are saying. So anyone who has any input on that, please let me know. I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but please let me know before our decision made Monday. And yeah, I'm just proud of this institution and the place that we are.
Let's switch back to student life for a moment. You're also running for re-election as SGA president.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any message that you would like to share with potential voters? What are your goals for the future, and how is today going to be different from tomorrow?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'll say thank you. Thank you seriously so much, each and every one of you students, for trusting me with this responsibility over this last year. Being your SGA president has truly been one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire life. And it's been a very large time commitment. It's been taken up most of my social life, taken up most of everything I do. But I absolutely love it. I love being able to have a direct impact on the campus environment around me. I love being the person that students feel like they can come to when they have problems, when they are wanting something, when they are trying to improve things. Being able to communicate those to the higher administration, I absolutely love that role. So really, what I would say to you is, you've trusted me and my ticket once. Please trust us again. We really would like to continue the success that we've seen over this last year. We've grown SGA to a level that hasn't been reached in quite a long time, in my opinion. We had, for an example, we had 11 people apply for just one vacancy position. That is fantastic that we have that high of a level of interest in our organization, that we are having that many people apply and interview for positions, for just one position. So that makes me so proud that we've grown the scope of our organization to that level. But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. We have built this strong foundation, but we'd really like to build on that going forward and continue to represent the students.
Speaking of that director position, you mentioned in an SGA meeting earlier this week, a new one. What is this position, and what services would it provide, as it would be an addition to the government?
Sure.
What need would it be looking to meet for the students? Do we have an idea of what powers and responsibilities it would have, and what inspired the position to be created in the first place?
Sure. So I'll kind of touch on, I think you're talking about the Director of Campus Life.
Yes.
First, I will actually touch on our new, that's an idea of a position. That's not anything concrete yet. But we did actually just recently create a new position, and that is the Director of Community Outreach, yes. So this position is a philanthropy-related position. The kind of main objective, first objective that we kind of set out was helping with the Racers Helping Racers food pantry. So obviously that is our campus food pantry. So the need line, which is the food pantry based in Callaway County, is available only to Callaway County residents. But as I'm sure, I'm not from Callaway County. I don't think you're from Callaway County.
I'm not.
So if we did run into a situation where we had food insecurities, we would not be able to use need line. So it is imperative that the university provides some sort of support to those students, right? And so we have the Racers Helping Racers food pantry. But that has been something that, over years now has struggled, and it's gotten a lot of support, but, the Pay It Forward program, all of the food from that goes towards the food pantry, but we can definitely grow our support for that. And so with that, we have our, this new position is going to be working directly with the food pantry. We're looking into possibly bringing in corporate sponsors, seeing if, a Kroger or someone would be willing to, donate money to our organization. There's external funds that can be brought into that, and so having someone who can directly tackle that and has the time to, I think will be a really good thing. And then also we have a blood drive that happens every semester, so that would be another thing that this new community outreach position would take on, the responsibility of planning that and putting that event on, and then really just any other philanthropy-related campus opportunities for students, bringing more opportunities for that would be great, but that's kind of down the road. Right now we're looking at mainly the food pantry and the food pantry and the blood drive. Sorry, yeah, that's what it was. And then I'll transition to the other role. So this one is not a actual role that we have created yet, but we kind of created the idea of it. This is called the Director of Campus Life. So really the idea for this position actually stemmed from the power outage, lightning strike situation. So originally, obviously there was some student unrest to everything that happened. And so, I struggled with how do we tackle this, as our organization, because we really don't have any formal means of going about, improving life for students on campus. And so the original idea was to create some sort of committee, and that committee would be specifically for the event, on February 15th, kind of looking into that, looking how, in the future we can make sure that, students are, feeling like they're more provided for, feeling like they're supported, in these kind of things. And so, but the idea was, this would just be a one-time thing, but then we discussed it and we're like, well, this is something that, we can grow into something greater than just this one event and have it improving campus life for years to come. So instead of it being a one-time committee, we decided that it might be better to make it a permanent position. So that will be the Director of Campus Life. And their entire job is basically to look at opportunities on campus, ways to improve, things for students on campus. They would, report to the SGA kind of with that. They can put out polls. We haven't really fully, discussed how exactly that will work in, getting student feedback, but, we're definitely willing to work with all students and kind of look at how to integrate that position moving forward.
You mentioned the power outage, and if we could talk about that for a minute.
Sure.
It resulted in about 700 students being moved out of Whiteson Region for nearly a week. A freshman even wrote a petition demanding accountability for, quote, negligent infrastructure.
Sure.
Do you have any comments on the power outage from February?
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, I'll say my heart just absolutely goes out to all the students. That is truly a terrible situation. And, I hated it. You mentioned the petition. I did read the petition. I spent probably 3 hours reading through just the comments on that petition alone. And it just absolutely breaks my heart to see, the students displaced and just how terrible of a situation it was. But with that, I did talk to Dr. Jackson during the power outage. And I am very happy with the things that the university has taken, the steps afterwards. I think that the $350 in reimbursement is fantastic, and when Dr. Jackson told me they were going to be doing that, I was so overjoyed because that really shows that the university does care for the students. Reimbursement for housing facilities as well. Obviously, the university did provide housing within the existing res colleges, but if you went and got a hotel or an Airbnb, then the university is reimbursing that as well. And in my role as student body president, student regent, I saw the back end that maybe students don't really see, and the tireless hours that people were putting in. Talking with Dr. Wilson, the housing director, fellow regent, just seeing how exhausted he was. Seeing people out there, at midnight, at 2 a.m., still trying to get power back on. Hearing the live updates, they had to bring parts up from Atlanta. And they tried turning power on, everything blows, it goes back, and so they have to keep, these kind of situations are difficult, and so, my heart goes out to all the students, but also I'm very happy with how the university handled it, and I appreciate seeing that, they really do care so much for the students.
Well, for our last question, the 2025 legislative session is winding down, and I think many people are curious about the state of legislation to approve a school of veterinary medicine at Murray State.
Yeah.
Could you provide any updates? I understand you, Silas Jackson, government chair for SGA, Bob Jackson, and Jordan Smith all went on a trip to lobby for the vet school. Could you give us any update or potential progress on that?
Sure, yeah. So that lobbying trip was fantastic. Got to meet with many legislators. And they were just overjoyed to see students, really. I remember, I don't remember who said it, but they're like, yeah, it's like takes them back to college. And so they love seeing students, they love interacting with students. So I think bringing that student element is so important to these lobbying visits. And so I appreciate them for caring enough, to take us with. And so we wrote a resolution, the resolution of support that we passed through our SGA. That was for the vet school. So we were really happy to do that. The live updates, really, Frankfurt is a very slow-moving thing. There has been bills filed, I believe, in both the House and the Senate in support of it. So those haven't been fully passed through obviously yet, but the university is monitoring the situation. I'm monitoring the situation. I talk to Jordan about it all the time. Just wanting to know what we can do, what more we can help. This vet school will be fantastic for the Murray State, Western Kentucky, our entire region. It serves such an important role, and I appreciate every single congressman and individual in Frankfort that sees that and sees that value. And we really want to do what's best for our students and what's best for the Commonwealth.
Well, that's all the time we have for our interview with Brendan Hawkins, current SGA president and student regent, who's running for re-election. SGA elections are March 10th to 11th on MyGate. The Murray State News will have election results following after on thenews.org and on our socials. For the Murray State News, I'm River Murt.